Now we'll move on to something that's a big part of our lives, asking and answering questions about time. So asking what time is it right now, or perhaps asking at what time is a certain event going to be held. Primero, you ask the question, ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? To answer the question, you either start with es la, it is, or son las, they are, and then you say the number of the hour. Now, the reason there are two ways to start the answer, es la means it is one, and you're leaving out hour. So what hour is it? ¿Qué hora es? It is the 1 hour. If there are more than one, you're not going to say it is 2. It is 2 hours. You say they are 2 hours. So we're actually making a sentence that they are 2 hours. So the plurals for any of the hours above 2. So son las 2, son las 3, son las 4, 5, 6, the whole way to 12. So the only expression that we'll use es la is which of the hours? Una. Es la una. ¿Qué hora es? Número 1. So I'm going to ask the question, ¿Qué hora es? And you give la respuesta. ¿Qué hora es? Es la una. ¿Qué hora es? The next clock. Como se dice it is 2 o'clock, but you're saying they are 2 hours. Son las 2. Como se dice they are 3 hours? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 3. So we're going to keep building onto this idea. So now we know how to give the hour, and we need to add some minutes. So we simply say and plus the number of minutes. So we need a quick little numbers review from 11 to 59. Are you ready? Count with me from 11. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, etc. through the 20s. Como se dice 30, 30, 31, 32, etc. Como se dice 40, 40, 41, 42, etc. Como se dice 50, 50, 51, 52. So you can add minutes up to how many? Think about it for a second. In Espanol, up to how many minutes? Up to 59. So you do that once again simply by saying and. So you say the hour, es la 1:10. For example, it's 1:10. If it's above 1 o'clock, son las 2:45. For example, it's 2:45. So let's do a little bit of practice now. ¿Qué hora es? So let's look at the clock that says 2:10. So como se dice, it is 2:10. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 2:10. That's it. That's all there is to it. The next clock, ¿qué hora es? Tell me it's 1:50. Es la 1:50. Nothing to it as long as you know your numbers to 59. Next to the last clock, ¿qué hora es? Tell me it's 8:24. Son las 8:24. And the last one on the screen, ¿qué hora es? Tell me that it is 9:37. Son las 9:37. Bravo. So a couple exceptions. Well, they're not really exceptions. They're just additions. Sometimes we say it's a quarter past the hour. So of course you can say and 15. Como se dice and 15? Y 15. So you can always say son las 3:15. It's 3:15. Or you can say y cuarto. And cuarto is just like a room, like quarters, right? It's very close to the word quarter. So you can say son las 5:15, or you can say son las 5:15. Un poco de práctica. The first clock. 2 ways to say it is 2:15. So first tell me it's 2:15 and then tell me it's 2:15. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 2:15. Son las 2:15. The second clock. ¿Qué hora es? Tell me it's 8:15 and then 8:15. Son las 8:15. Son las 8:15. And el reloj final. ¿Qué hora es? Tell me it's 11:15 and 11:15. Son las 11:15. Son las 11:15. The same idea happens for half past. We can certainly say and 30:30, but you often hear it's half past the hour, which would be y media. Media means half. Y media. So same idea. ¿Qué hora es? Tell me it is 6:30. First tell me it's 6:30 and then 6:30. Son las 6:30. Son las 6:30. ¿Qué hora es? Tell me it's 1:30 and then 1:30. Careful now, it's 1 singular hour. Es la 1:30. Es la 1:30. The only hour that uses es la instead of son las. And finalmente, ¿qué hora es? Tell me it's 9:30 and 9:30. Son las 9:30. Son las 9:30. So quick recap here. Say ¿qué hora es? To ask the time. What hour is it? Use es la or son las plus the number of minutes to state the time. Es la una. Es la is only used with 1 o'clock. Son las, any of the other hours from 2 until 12, is used with numbers over 1. Use e, the word and, plus minutes to add minutes up to the half hour. We're going to talk about how to say the time before the hour, but you can actually add minutes up to 59. Por ejemplo, son las 3:20. Use y cuarto, or you can use y quince to say 15 past or quarter past. Por ejemplo, son las 6:15. You could also say 6:15. And use y media to say half past. You can also say y 30 in that situation. Por ejemplo, son las 8:30. You could say son las 8:30. So quick recap, ¿qué hora es? Take a look at the clock. ¿Qué hora es? Es la 1. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 2. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 5:15 o son las 5:15. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 5:30. You could also say son las 5:30. ¿Y qué hora es? Son las 5:10. Now the next little piece we're going to look at, and you don't have to use this in telling time, but we can also say that it's a certain amount of minutes before the hour. And this would be for any times 29 minutes or less before the hour. For example, you have a time that says and 45 minutes. In other words, you are missing a quarter or 15 minutes from the hour. So if we wanted to say 3:45, son las 3:45, we could also say it's 4 o'clock minus 15 minutes. Son las 4:15 or menos cuarto. Look at some more examples. If we have 31 minutes on the hour, so for example, son las 6:31, we also have 29 minutes before the next hour. Son las 7 menos 29. If we have 40 minutes on the hour, por ejemplo, son las 2:40, it's 2:40. We could also say that it's 3 o'clock minus 20, 20 before 3. Son las 3 menos 20. We have 50 minutes on the hour. Son las 8:50. It's 8:50. It's also 10 till 9, or 9 minus 10. So we could say son las 10 or 9 menos 10. So 8:50 or 9 menos 10. Last little example, it's 52 minutes past the hour. So we'll use the example son las 3:52. It's 3:52. It's also 8 minutes before 4. But they would say in Spanish it's 4 minus 8. Son las 4 menos 8. Un poco de práctica. The first clock, it's 8:35. So first tell me it's 8:35 and then tell me that it's 25 minutes until 9. 9 minus 25. Son las 8:35. It's perfectly fine if you just use the addition for the time instead of subtraction. Or son las 9 menos 25. So it's 9 minus 25 minutes, or 25 till 9. The second clock, ¿qué hora es? Tell me it's 1:56 and then tell me it's 4 minutes till 2. Es la 1:56. Or, son las 2 menos 4. Not cuarto, 4. 4 minutes until 2. Clock número 3, reloj 3. Tell me it's 7:42. And then tell me it's 18 minutes till 8. Son las 7:42. O son las 8 menos 18. 6:45. First tell me it's 6:45, then tell me it's 15 minutes till 7. Or you could tell me it's a quarter till 7. Son las 6:45. O son las 7 menos 15. Or son las 7 menos cuarto. Finalmente, ¿cómo se dice? It's 12:45. And then tell me it's a quarter till 1. Son las 12:45. Or es la 1 menos 15. Or you could say es la 1 menos cuarto. Un repaso. Use menos plus the minutes for times after the hour. Son las 10, after the half hour rather, sorry. Son las 10 menos 20, it's 10 minus 20 minutes, which gives you 9:40. Use menos cuarto or menos 15 for quarter to. Por ejemplo, son las 2 menos cuarto, it's a quarter till 2, 1:45. Son las 3 menos 15, it's a quarter till 3, or 2:45. You can also use the expression faltan a number of minutos para la to say that there are minutes that are missing before the hour. So just take a look at the expression faltan 5 minutos para la 1. So 5 minutes are missing for 1 o'clock. But it's fine with me, and it's perfectly fine if you use the first expression that we learned. It's a certain hour minus a certain number of minutes. Also perfectly fine if you always just only use adding the minutes. So mire el reloj para decir la hora. Take a look at the time of day. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 8 de la mañana. Repitan. Son las 8 de la mañana. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 3 de la tarde. Repitan. Son las 3 de la tarde. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 9 de la noche. Repitan. Son las 9 de la noche. So notice the expressions now that we're going to be using and adding to our time knowledge. De la mañana, of the morning. De la tarde, in the afternoon or of the afternoon. And de la noche, of the evening. To specify the time of day, you use de la mañana, de la tarde, or de la noche. To say it's 7 in the morning, repitan, son las 7 de la mañana. To say it's 1 in the afternoon, repitan, es la 1 de la tarde. To say it's 11 at night, repitan, son las 11 de la noche. So the big question is always, when are the cutoff times, particularly for afternoon and evening? De la mañana is used for the morning hours between midnight and noon. So it's kind of interesting because midnight could be 12 o'clock at night or 12 o'clock in the morning. It just can't be 12 o'clock in the afternoon. De la tarde is used for daylight hours after noon. So you could say it's 12 noon, son las 12 de la tarde. And de la noche is used only for nighttime hours. So that cutoff time, it can be dependent on the summer, and it can also be dependent country to country, given that in some countries it gets dark earlier or stays light later. So that 5, 6 o'clock time, afternoon, evening, really is depending on the time of year and the daylight. Another thing to note is comparing the use of de and por in these sentences. Repitan. La clase es a las 10 de la mañana. The class is at 10 in the morning. Repitan, en general, estudio por la mañana. In general, I study throughout or during the morning. Note that you use de la mañana, de la tarde, and de la noche to give a specific time of day. You use por la mañana, por la tarde, por la noche to give a more general time frame. I do something through the morning or during the morning, for example. Un poco más. To say it's noon, you use es mediodía. Repitan, es mediodía. Now notice the word día is masculine, so the word for half is medio, because it's agreeing with día, mediodía. To say it's midnight, you say es medianoche. Repitan, es medianoche. Noche is a feminine word, so media is feminine to agree with noche. Repitan, es mediodía, es medianoche, es tarde, es temprano. So a few other expressions there to say it's early or it's late. Repitan, ¿tienes tiempo para tomar un café? ¿Tienes tiempo para tomar un café? Sí, es temprano. Sí, es temprano. Ay, no, ya es muy tarde. Ay, no, ya es muy tarde. ¿Qué hora es? Repitan. De la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche. Son las 12 de la mañana. Es la medianoche. So if it's 2 in the morning, it's midnight. Repitan. Son las 12 de la tarde. Es el mediodía. If it's 2 in the afternoon, it is midday. It is noon. Un poco de práctica. You're going to just respond to the prompts that you'll see on the screen and just state the time, remembering also to add de la mañana, de la tarde, or de la noche. Por ejemplo, en el modelo, you see 1 p.m. So you're going to ask the question, ¿Qué hora es? Or I'll ask the question, ¿Qué hora es? And you'll respond with, es la una de la tarde. Número uno. ¿Qué hora es? And there are a couple ways that you could say that. Son las 3:15 de la tarde o son las 3:15 de la tarde. Número dos. ¿Qué hora es? A few ways to say this as well. Son las 2:45 de la tarde. It's 2:45. Or son las 3:15 de la tarde. Or son las 3:15 de la tarde. Número 3. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Son las 10:30 de la mañana o son las 10:30 de la mañana? Número 4. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Son las 12 de la tarde o es el mediodía? It's midday, it's noon. Número 5. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Son las 6:55 de la mañana o son las 7:05 de la mañana? So we can say it's 6:55 or it's 7 minus 5, 5 till 7. Y finalmente, número 6, ¿qué hora es? And there's only one way to say this one. Son las 9:25 de la noche. Muy bien, now compare the following two questions and responses. A tiny bit to add here. If you're asked the question, ¿Qué hora es? Here's one way to answer, es la una, son las dos, etc. Look at the difference in this question. ¿A qué hora es la clase de español? What little word do you notice it's making a big difference here? The tiniest little word in the question. A, which means at. So now look at the change. We're not asking what time is it right now. We're asking at what time a certain event is happening. And look at the response. We're going to take that little word a, at, and include it in the response. Es a la una. Es a la una. When you ask the time, you use que. ¿Qué hora es? And when asking at what time something takes place, you include a. ¿A qué hora es? So let's just do a recap of that. You use ¿Qué hora es? To ask the time. To answer, you use es la with una in minutes, or son las with an hour greater than 1 in minutes. Por ejemplo, ¿qué hora es? Es la 1:10. Son las 5:20. Now the part that we just added, you use ¿a qué hora es? To ask at what time an event occurs. To answer, you have to include the a. Es a la una. Es a las dos. It is, so you start the question with it is at, and then you continue. Por ejemplo, ¿a qué hora es la clase? Es a la 1:30. It's at 1. Es a las 2:15. It's at 2:15. So notice that we're using the singular la in front of una and the plural las in front of dos. But your response to at what time something is, you start with it is. Es. A la for 1, a las for more than 1. So let's see if you can do this practice. ¿Qué hora es? Es la 1. ¿A qué hora es la clase? Es a la 1. It's at 1. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 9:30 or son las 9:30. ¿A qué hora es la clase? Es a las 9:30 o es a las 9:30. La práctica, ¿a qué hora es la clase? So I'm going to ask you, ¿a qué hora es la clase de? And I'll give you a class from the horario, the schedule, and you'll respond es a las with the time. Bien. Bueno, ¿a qué hora es la clase de contabilidad? I should have heard you say es a las 3. ¿A qué hora es la clase de economía? Es a las 8. ¿A qué hora es la clase de francés? Es a las 11:30 o 11:30. ¿A qué hora es la clase de música? Es a las 4. ¿A qué hora es la clase de psicología? Es a las 10. We'll move on now to something that's an important part of life in, I would say, every Spanish-speaking country, which is the 24-hour clock. This is something that you'll see on schedules. It would also be on, let's say, your schedule for your classes, train schedules, schedules for movies, etc. So let's learn about the 24-hour clock in Espanol. The 24-hour clock is used globally. We're pretty much the only country that doesn't use this on a regular basis for train schedules, plane schedules, etc. But you will see this in all other parts of the world, and particularly in all Spanish-speaking countries for schedules and official times. The system is based on counting the hours of the day from 0 through 24. The first 12 hours of the day, from midnight until noon, are represented by the numbers 0 to 12. So just like our regular clock, any time after noon is represented by that time plus 12 hours. The H after the time stands for hours. For example, 1 p.m. is 1 o'clock plus 12, or 1,300 hours. 2:30, you take the 2:30 plus 12, 1430 H hours. In 5:45, you add 12 onto that 5, and notice that these are all PM. If they said AM, it would look exactly the same on the clock. Hours from 0 to 12, the morning hours will look exactly the same in military time. It's the hours from 12 noon until midnight that are going to be the plus 12. So 5:45, you take the 5, add the 12, is 17:45. Now to go backwards, to go from a 24-hour time to the 12-hour clock, you just do the opposite. You subtract the 12. So the only hours you're going to do this for are any hours you will see above 12. If you see on a military clock a time that is from 1 through 12, you know that it's exactly what it is. It's your morning hours. But once you see 13 to 23, you know you have to subtract the 12 to have it make sense. For example, 1,300 hours, you subtract the 12, 1 p.m., and you have to add the p.m. afternoon. 1430, subtract the 12, 2:30 in the afternoon. 17:45, subtract the 12 from 17, 5:45 in the afternoon. The 24-hour clock is almost always used in written form. In conversation, Spanish speakers use the 12-hour format, adding de la mañana, de la tarde, or de la noche for clarification. So, of course, we need un poco de práctica. Look at the schedule that you see, and I want you to convert this back to our regular times. The modelo, you see 21:20. You know you have to subtract that 12 to put it in the PM hours, becomes 9:20. So here we go, número uno. ¿Qué hora es? Subtract the 12 from 23, and it's 11:20 p.m. Son las 11:20 de la noche. Número dos, ¿qué hora es? Son las 2:45 de la tarde. So we have to put the PM there. Tres, ¿qué hora es? Son las 6:30, 6:30 de la noche. Número cuatro, ¿qué hora es? Sixteen minus 12 son las 4:25 de la tarde. Número cinco, ¿qué hora es? Son las 3:10 de la tarde. Número seis, ¿qué hora es? Nineteen minus 12 son las 7:15, 7:15 de la noche.